Baltic Brand Talks, podcast about all things creative and trending.
Hi everyone, this is Andris Rubins and this is Baltic Brand Talks. Today I have a fantastic guest, our neighbor from Estonia, Hando Sinisalu. Hi Hando.
Hello.
So Hando is he writes in his LinkedIn profile, and I think that's the place where we try to, really concentrate who we are. Hando writes about himself that he is providing wisdom to business sales and marketing professionals through conferences, articles, and podcasts. Hando is also a founder of Marketing Parrot and Best Marketing, the organizations that I'm sure he will gonna better explain what they are, what they do than me. So, Hando, but let's start before we jump into conferences. So, what is your background? How did you decide to start organizing all of those different marketing conference and competitions that you have been doing for many years now?
Well, my background is actually journalism. So I'm educated as a journalist from Tartu University, and later I did my master's degree in the US in Ohio University in telecommunications management. And my first job actually, like my school-time job, I was a freelance DJ at the times when the role of DJ was to explain the songs, not just to mix them. But later I became the co-founder of the first independent radio station in Estonia called Radio Tartu in 1991. And this was the first a non-governmental radio station that was on air for 24/7, and we played music and had local news and everything. And it was extremely popular at that time. Unfortunately, it doesn't exist anymore. But at the time, it was really the most famous media outlet in South Estonia. And after that, I became the managing director of Eesti Päevaleht, which is one of the two most important daily papers in Estonia. So I was there for about 6 years or so. And then after that, my friends who had a conference company invited me to... And then I had a brief period of my life when I was managing the advertising agency as well. It was called Bates 141.
Oh, right.
And later it became Ogilvy Taivas, so they merged together after my time. So, and then my friends invited me to join their conference business. And this is where I'm staying until now, for over 20 years now.
Yeah, no, now it's all kind of clear. I mean, DJ plus journalism plus advertising plus, media, and then you, of course, start doing marketing conferences.
Yes, because producing a conference, it's like, I would say it's like editing a news magazine. Because you need to get good content,
That's true.
Either speakers or in case of magazine, you have authors. Then you need to have some sort of a vision, how you put it together. You need to communicate your message. You have to edit maybe a little bit. And then finally, you have this final product, being it magazine or being it a conference, and then you have to sell and market it. So it's pretty much, I would say, the job of conference producer is very similar to editor of a news program or magazine or newspaper.
All right. Only the guests are not coming to your venue. They are staying in their homes or offices.
Yeah, that's the difference, yeah.
So can you remember the first event you organized, and how did it go? And especially maybe what didn't go, or what went wrong?
The first event I was personally responsible happened actually in Riga, in Latvia.
Oh, right.
And it was the first password conference in Latvia, and it was...
I remember that time.
It was year 2005, I think. No, 2005. So my friends had started a password conference in Estonia, and then my first job was to take this password idea from Estonia to Latvia and Lithuania. And then I remember that we had to kind of build a trust. So we didn't know Latvian market. And by that time, we even invented a Latvian name because, we wanted to have a Latvian name as a contact person.
Mm-hmm.
So we invented a fake Latvian name that, no, it was, I don't know, it was a female name, yes. But I don't remember that, unfortunately. And then we also needed to have some sort of a patron locally or organization that would give a little bit of credibility to us. And we had two partners. One was newspaper Diena, and the other one was at that time called TNS. Now they're called
the research company. Yeah.
So we had the Diena and TNS as partners. And actually, it was and it happened in Latvia Hotel. And we sold about 100 tickets, and this was the first marketing effectiveness competition.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it went well. It was very stressful because we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know how Latvian marketing people would behave, but it turned out that they were perfectly normal.
I mean, I clearly remember the times because for Magic or DDB at that time, the agency I'm happy to manage and partner. We really kind of believe in creative effectiveness. So we kind of, for that time, and Password was existing in Latvia, we really took it serious and work hard to have those cases prepared, because EFI, as we know, it's not just showing the work. It's really showing the goals and KPIs and kind of argumenting the strategy and kind of showcasing the great results and effects on business. And then after a couple of years, when you stopped doing EFIs, one of the reasons I thought was maybe because I think we got for 3 or 4 years in a row we were Grand Prix.
No.
Or there were other reasons.
No, there were other reasons. The main reason was that the first big kind of economic crisis happened in 2008, 2009. And we were really hit in Lithuania and Latvia. In Estonia, we somehow managed to do better. But in Latvia and Lithuania, somehow the crisis was deeper, and then we didn't have the resources to carry on. So that was actually the main reason.
All right, and now since that time, I think Password still enjoys its conference and competition in Estonia.
Yeah, and in Lithuania as well.
And in
because
Lithuania.
In Lithuania, we sold it to Verslo Žinios, which is the business organization.
Yes.
And then they do it in a little bit different way than we do it in Estonia, but it's still alive.
So we are still waiting for the Latvian comeback.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Hopefully. Even though I would say that more and more creative festivals are integrating this effectiveness category.
Maybe we are already late with that idea, so the times have changed.
Yeah, but anyway, I think at that time, that's when I also got to know you personally, and also got to see your other projects and events and conferences, and it really felt that, if there's someone who understands, marketing conference in Baltics, then that's you. So thank you for all the, advice or answers that you've been giving me throughout the years whenever I had a question about
you're welcome.
Some of the events that we are trying to organize as well. So recently you were also in Riga in Marketing Shake and sharing some of your experience regarding your other passion beside the organizing conferences, and we will come back to those as well. But yeah, you are also a big enthusiast in business to business marketing field, or at least you have gathered a lot of case studies in the field, and also are hopefully trying to encourage also business-to-business brands and companies to be more open to creativity and hopefully humor as well. So if I would ask you to give a short summary, maybe for those who missed Marketing Shake conference in Riga, what are your what are the myths about business-to-business, and what are your, what are your tips and tricks for those brands in the field that want to grow and become more famous?
Well, business to business marketing, this B2B means business to business, but there is a cliche joke that B2B actually means boring to boring, because business to business marketing is like a poor cousin of business to consumer marketing, where all the fun happens.
I love the metaphor.
Yeah, all the fun happens with beer advertising and telco and banks even, and ice cream, whatever. And B2B is usually very serious, very cliche driven. But the potential is huge because overall, I've seen the statistics that in total about 60 to 70% of businesses actually are selling to other businesses. So it's much bigger chunk of a market. But very often marketing in B2B companies is a kind of under the wing of sales department. It's more like a sales support rather than a strategic function. And since my own experience is mostly all in B2B, because selling conferences and media mostly is to B2B audience.
B2P, as they also say, business to people. Right?
So I kind of thought that, okay, I don't have much experience in teaching how to sell ice cream or chewing gum or, consumer products, because this is a completely different world. But I have a lot of experience how to sell business services. Which is the biggest part of B2B marketing. So I kind of thought that it's now the time to build a community for that. So we founded Marketing Parrot about 3 years ago.
Yes.
And the idea of it is to put together the community of B2B marketing and salespeople in the Baltics. In the first kind of phase, we haven't gone further away from the home than the Baltics yet. And the response has been surprisingly good. B2B people actually appreciate that finally there is something for them dedicated to them. We even gave out the first B2B awards called Parrot Awards. And we got I think about 60 entries, which was
it's quite remarkable.
Quite remarkable for the first time. And there are usually B2B categories in all advertising competitions, but you get only maybe 1 or 2 submissions, and it's almost impossible to. It's like comparing apples and oranges. It's almost impossible to compare a funny IKEA ad with some sort of
smart and witty
accounting software promotion, or they are just so different. So they needed their own category or league, and this is what we're doing at Marketing Parrot. You were asking about the learnings.
And before that, by the way, for those who are not seeing us on video, I would say that Hando is really living his business-to-business conference and parrot life, because the shirt is always colorful parrots or exotic birds.
I'm not showing my underwear here, but believe me,
the shirt is fine. but sorry to interrupt, but just notice that.
Well, the lessons actually. What I hear a lot is that B2B marketers complain that advertising infrastructure is not supporting them, meaning that most of the ad agencies do not understand B2B. So they actually struggle with finding a good marketing partners, because usually the first kind of message the ad agencies give to them is that, look, business decision makers are also people. So they are, regular people. They watch TikTok. They love the same jokes, whatever. And, there's nothing different. It's human to human marketing.
Yeah.
But I partly agree with this. Of course, they are humans too. But the way sales are integrated to marketing in B2B is completely different from B2C. This is one thing. The other thing is that the decision-making process is much longer. So it may take seconds, when you click on ad and buy something from an e-shop. Maybe you buy a new cover for your phone, or you can buy, whatever, new t-shirt or sneakers. But in B2B, the sales cycle or the decision-making cycle can be like 3 years long. It's almost impossible to measure that, because the funnel, even in digital world, is dark. You don't know. Maybe somebody saw you speaking at the conference, or somebody met you at some sort of a trade show, or saw your article in some blog. And then after a year, maybe 2 years, there is another contact. And finally, when they look you up on Google or contact you, this is only the end of the journey. And if you only measure that, you're actually misleading yourself.
It's even more risky in business to business to kind of focus on short-term results or short-term kind of effects.
Absolutely. It's the biggest mistake to focus on the last the last clicks. And it's very difficult to measure that attribution in B2B. So this is maybe the biggest difference. Yeah.
And I know you have been, doing the festival yourself now in Baltics, but also kind of being part of the juries all over the world and seeing those case studies. So what are maybe 1 or 2 examples from business to business marketing that you would say they are, something that you would want to see more?
Well, actually, the B2B cases that win awards at Cannes and other competitions, they very often are famous brands, such as MasterCard or Volvo, and I think this year it was even Coca-Cola.
You mean Volvo Trucks kind of edition, which is B2B.
but still it's world famous brand.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Volvo Trucks maybe is the most famous B2B case because they were selling trucks.
Yeah.
But everybody, at least in the advertising world, of course, knows this Jean-Claude Van Damme ads.
Yeah.
So this is maybe the most famous B2B ad. But if you look at this is really outstanding piece of work. But on everyday basis, B2B communication is very often about content, creating valuable pieces of videos or articles, being in touch with potential buyers on LinkedIn or trade shows, meeting in person. Actually, one area that maybe is really undervalued is how you can actually combine content creation with sales.
Yeah.
And just to give you an example, for example, you have a podcast here. You are also in B2B marketing because you are selling business services, right?
Absolutely.
So let's say if you are looking for you have a wish list of clients you would like to get for your agency, then one way would be that you would invite that client you wish
or their competitor
to this podcast. You spend an hour with this potential client. You get to know. You ask those questions. You can ask whatever you want, and obviously they will tell you. So you get a lot of valuable knowledge about this particular client. You break the ice. Of course, it's not appropriate to make a sales pitch right after this podcast, but you can do it later, maybe in some other occasion, later, maybe even a few months later. And you have much better chances of winning that account
than just writing cold email.
Exactly. So this is a good way how you can combine content creation, marketing, and sales in B2B. And this is one of the differences. You normally would not do that if you're selling ice cream or chewing gum.
And from Parrot competition, was there something that really stood out, or something more innovative or unexpected?
There was one of the winners was Cobalt, for example, the law firm, how they actually changed their strategy on LinkedIn. So what they did was that they completely redefined the whole LinkedIn strategy.
From boring to funny, or what was?
No, they actually from boring. They changed the kind of the mindset from most of the posts on LinkedIn are usually about bragging about yourself. So you say how good you are, what are your achievements, how excited.
And then your team members comment.
Yeah, how excited you are about winning an award or something. But they changed it from bragging about how good they are to client case studies. So they actually made their clients as heroes and then communicated via the success of their clients.
That's smart, and that's fantastic, and probably more valuable also for us as the readers or fans.
Exactly.
All right. Recently, we also had the Baltic Best Festival, which is creativity festival, or I think you like to call it, it's a creativity fest for small countries with big ideas, right?
Yes.
So again, it's something where Baltic creative agencies and communication agencies can, see where they are. If you put your best work out and have international jury, and then some of the hottest Estonian, Lithuanian, Latvian agencies can try to see who is doing the best at the moment, or at least learn from each other, which I think is also another great value of this festival. But there's one pretty unique invention that you did. I think it started during pandemic, which kind of made a lot of sense, but you kept doing it even today when we all know that pandemic is over, or I hope you have heard that pandemic is over, and
I've heard that it's coming back.
Estonians are slower, but hopefully you got you reached that message. But the unique feature is that we can the whole jury process, when they are like marketing experts and creative directors who are part of the jury, they are evaluating the shortlisted work live. So we already have a traditional magic office that we have this large screen. It's like almost watching Eurovision or ice hockey World Cup games. So it's on for almost full working day, and we can see how experts are analyzing our work, the work of our other agencies. And sometimes it's very interesting, sometimes it's painful because we have to hear a lot of critiques as well about our work. But of course, it's overall, I think it's quite unique way how to approach the judging work in the festival as such. So, what's your do you want to continue, and how do you feel about it?
Absolutely, this is unique, and we have got thank you for your kind words. We have heard quite a almost exclusively good feedback. So we definitely want to keep that. And there are several advantages. First of all, it's easier to get jury members from different parts of the world.
Yeah, it's online.
They don't have to travel. The quality of online video and the production is okay already. So
it's getting better. I think,
it's not that bad to watch as it was in early days. Plus, in the previous years, we've had jury members from very far corners of the world. We have had people from Namibia and Suriname and Mauritius, for example, in our jury, which normally would not be possible. So this is definitely an advantage. Another thing that almost every advertising competition, I think it's kind of a disease even, that there's always some sort of a conspiracy theories that, behind closed doors, the jury members,
they agreed
and
to punish that agency.
Exactly. So being totally live and transparent, everybody can see that there's no conspiracy. Then what we have heard, some maybe negative comments, is that sometimes the comments of the jury members do not sound overly professional. But I must remind you that exactly the same is happening behind those closed doors.
I would like, one of my observation is, and I think that would be how I would behave if I would be invited in this, live jury session, is that you would probably be a little more, let's say,
reserved,
polite, reserved, maybe not as honest or as straightforward that you would probably be in a closer room.
But still, the score you show on that scorecard, it's honest. So.
That was interesting. In a couple of cases, it was like from the opinions and critics, I thought it's going to be 1 or 2, and then they show 8.
It's a human. But I must say that, since Baltic Best is in cooperation with Epica Awards, so we send the gold winners to Epica, and in previous years, quite many have also won some sort of award at Epica. So the Epica jury works pretty much the same way. So... the people are more or less the same. Again, they even have to watch more work during a long day. So they don't have time to analyze the work in detail. So if you as an agency present a case study or something, the context that the jury members are in is that they obviously are tired. They have seen so many works already. And if you don't get their attention from the first second, and if your message is not clear, if your joke is not universally understood across different cultures, then the chances of winning are low. So, and this is exactly the same environment that happens in other creative juries all over the world. So
That's true.
this is a good way to test your work.
Also, observing like the work coming from Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, do you see any kind of cultural differences, or maybe which country is more kind of, I don't know, focused on some aspects of integrated media?
Well, I would say creatively, Estonians historically love all that reference to local culture more maybe than Latvians and Lithuanians. So that's why very often the ads that win in Estonian local competition do not do well in international competitions, because the humor is not understood.
Yeah.
This is one difference. I would say that Latvian and Lithuanian agencies have a little bit more universal approach, like in very many cases. The other thing which I found also interesting is that if Estonian agency is creating a film for a brand, the world in that film is shiny. Usually the sun is shining. Then you have a couple that looks, hipster. They are clearly successful.
Estonia.
Yes.
Okay.
They are clearly successful people. They all have Mac laptops. They have a Tesla car or any other electric car. They live in their own house. They have a dog, and it's this dream life they have. And then the brand can be whatever. It can be a bank or a retailer or whatever.
Yeah.
On the contrary, when you look at the Lithuanian ads, then very often the couple lives in this Soviet-style apartment building. The sun is not shining. It's usually brownish color. The apartment is not that fancy.
It's like you're describing this one of the latest Vilnius city ads.
Yeah,
that was kind of playing around this.
But maybe this is a little bit characteristic. But I would say that Estonians are very we would like to show off like the best side of our life, whereas Lithuanians are more, I would say, honest, reflecting the reality.
Okay.
Estonians are more like aspirational. They want to show, the best side of life, and Latvians are maybe somewhere in between.
I remember this. It's a long old story, but from Circle K we had this brief, I think like 15 years ago or something, which was a Baltic brief, and the goal was to create one Baltic concept out of the same brief, which was about this miles fuel, kind of economy effects, or this miles kind of a special this addition to the fuel. So the same brief went to 3 agencies, and the idea was we will choose, Circle K wanted to choose one most kind of universal concept for 3 Baltic countries, which ended with 3 concepts, of course. Lithuania chosen their concept, where it was all about the humor, golden tooth, funny guy, kind of, expressing his joy about this new fuel. Estonia had this small bird sitting on this, the part of the car where the smoke is coming out.
The combustion.
So the bird was sitting there. So they were playing around this, sustainability and ecology aspect of the miles. And Latvians, as the most practical brother of 3, we had this large trailer truck having different these cars on the trailer and drivers sitting in them, meaning they were showing this economy side of the miles, that if you with your friends, if you would decide to save on fuel, you would hire a truck that just brings all of your cars to office, right? So we had this kind of
this idea in Estonia would not fly definitely, because we hate other people. So
but can you imagine the same brief from the same brand at the same time, ending with, I can't imagine, even more dramatic, extreme, different concepts. And every country was super confident that's the best one for themselves.
Absolutely. I think something similar happened with Tele2. The ads for Tele2, those, kind of funny ads series that I think they finally stopped it. I think your agency was involved at some point of time also with...
Many years ago, we worked with Zilti, the prepaid card brand, and started this series which are still running, and yes.
So I think it's quite impossible to create. Maybe it's even easier to create a global campaign for like all the people in the world rather than a pan-Baltic campaign, because we are too close, and those little differences, they cause a lot of I would say fighting,
or trouble, or
Yes.
kind of questions, let's
Right.
say. Yeah, so this is example about creating concepts, but coming back to events, I mean, you've been really trying hard, and I really kind of appreciate your efforts here, kind of organizing those pan-Baltic events. So how easy it is, and to get Lithuanian, Estonian, Latvian coming to the same event at the same time. And so what's your experience with this Baltic struggle?
It's not easy. With Baltic Best, we actually, in early days, we also had a ceremony, award ceremony, where we tried to get people from all three countries to come together. It was successful, actually. I think it was the second year, where we had a bus full of Lithuanians coming from Vilnius. Most of them were from Milk Agency. and then we had a really, like a truly pan-Baltic vibe there. But this was the first and last time.
Yes.
Later, we had, some occasional guests, and they also said, "Oh, look, my bus is leaving at 10:30. Can we give this award? Can we get this award at 9ish so we can leave?" So, like, not the kind of, they were not crazy about staying overnight and partying, and it didn't work out so well. So that's why we actually skipped that award ceremony at all. And it seems like this online format, at least for Baltic Best, is the best choice at the moment. When it comes to conferences, then we haven't tried that hard. Even for the Baltic Best, we once had a conference. But I would say that now with this Parrot conference, we had the first time, like it was mostly it was pan-Baltic actually. We had quite many people from Latvia, Lithuania as well. I think the planning is crucial here, because when, like in Estonia, now the cycle is getting longer, but in early days it was possible to, from the idea till the final event, it took maybe 6 weeks, maybe sometimes even less. So people were used to react at the last moment. Now, with all the calendars are full, the cycle is getting longer, so you need to think maybe 6 months, maybe even more ahead. And with proper planning, it is actually possible to get people from other countries to join. And very often what we experience during this Parrot event also is that those who have a pan-Baltic team, they can then plan their team meetings for the same time period as well. But again, this requires a lot of pre-planning.
Yeah, exactly.
So my answer is that I think there is potential, but it requires a different approach than you would do just purely local event. And the crucial thing here is a planning cycle.
Yep. If the same marketing person has to choose one event which is local, and all the speakers, or most of the speakers will be speaking, Estonian or Lithuanian, and then there is this English kind of conference next door. So, like, what's your guess where the majority would?
Well, I think the language is not a problem anymore, at least in international companies, because for most of them, their daily working language is English anyway. So the language is definitely not a problem. Even what I've heard is that the local guru speakers, the best experts, they are overused.
Yeah.
So it's
there are
very hard.
5 of them usually.
Yeah, so it's very hard to kind of surprise people with the same local guru again.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the choice of international speakers actually helps to sell better. Plus, the local guys very often do free events as well. So if they have been doing free webinars, then it's quite difficult to sell ticket to the event where the same person is speaking like on stage.
Yeah, as you know, we are also together with great partners in OMD and Norstat and Magic and a lot of other companies who join the forces. We do Baltic Brand Forum. This will be the 6th year. So one of our and the last year it was in Tallinn. This year in Riga Circus. Next year we go to Vilnius, and kind of also my experience shows that unless you really offer great content and global speakers, and actually you travel around the Baltics, then only then you can really kind of get the feeling that this is pan-Baltic. Because in previous years, when we were just in Riga and trying to get neighbors coming in, not so many, and because again, probably time, effort, and you have a lot of events locally, and just coming here for diploma, because we also do the Baltic Brand Award show and we award the best Baltic brands in different categories. It was not motivational enough. Now, since last year in Tallinn, it really I like just like what you said about the Parrot or some other Baltic events. Finally, really felt Baltic event. Yeah, like about 150 Latvians going to Tallinn, and then 50 more Lithuanians joining in, and 150 Estonians being in their home city. So I really hope that this kind of Baltic traveling forum will, attract even more, Baltic marketing teams and Baltic brand teams. But this year's topic is the humor as a very powerful tool in marketing and also, in communication. And we have a lot of research to back it up. At the same time, we see that humor has been missing for quite some time. Not only in Baltics, I mean, it's a universal kind of theme.
Oh yeah, the award-winning ads recent years have been really sad. So
purposeful
the idea was to make creative judges cry.
Yes, cry, or at least kind of feel this empathy about brands. Every brand trying to solve, these global issues and often forgetting that they are selling product and they can be entertaining as well.
Yeah, but this is going out of fashion now. So this kind of the solving the world's issues with your advertising approach, it's in decline. And I think in Cannes Lions this year, I think it was like 14% less than last year. This purposeful campaigns got awards. So this is definitely, advertising is very trend kind of sensitive area, and definitely this is going out of the fashion now. So I don't know what will be the next thing, but humor is something that has always been there.
Yeah.
But in recent years, I think because of this woke culture and the kind of culture of being kind of all the time hurt by some jokes, and I think this has many brands have been very sensitive about not insulting anybody, so the humor has been a bit problematic, but it seems like the kind of healthy jokes are coming back now.
And would you also encourage business-to-business marketers to use humor as a tool?
Absolutely. I mean, this is the area where we are talking about human to human. So humor, like I would say, any emotions work. Like making them sad or cry also works. But if you want to create positive associations, then definitely humor is the best. And again, the way how you sell it, or the planning of the campaigns and everything is different.
Yeah.
But the creative wise, humor absolutely works the best.
I mean, also, if you look at the media platforms, of course, in TikTok, if you are not entertaining, you better don't, waste your time or your time of your fans. But in LinkedIn, if you're entertaining, you will probably be, the shining star.
Well, I've tried that recently, and I've even trying to be sarcastic on LinkedIn, and it doesn't work.
No, I mean,
so still the most successful posts about presenting yourself, or presenting your how you overcome some sort of issue, and you present yourself as a hero, and then all the others will kind of support you and like your post. But when you're trying to be funny or sarcastic, at least I haven't been able to get too much response. So I don't know, maybe the algorithm is killing that. I don't know what's wrong, but
I know. But let's keep trying, Hando. Keep trying. With the jokes, like what comedians do. They test the jokes against audiences in open mics, and one of 50 jokes happen to be working with almost every audience, but only one of 50. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember remember telling a joke. I was once presenting in South Africa, and I was telling a joke. It was like a Soviet time joke, which I found funny. Nobody,
and they didn't.
nobody even smiled. So I felt like this was completely inappropriate. So I have to be careful with the jokes as well.
Sure. Especially in these different cultures and contexts where you are not very familiar with. So 3 questions before I let you go. The 3 questions we ask to every Baltic Brand Talks guest. First of all, which brands do you admire, or maybe 1 or 2 brands that you really think are great in what they do, and also shortly, why is that?
Well, being Estonian, I have to say it's one of them is Bolt.
Sure, it's great brands.
And because they really have changed the way the consumer behavior, both with their micro-mobility and with their food delivery. This is the brand I'm using myself all the time.
The scooter.
Everything. I use scooter, rental cars, and the taxis and everything. I
Bolt
think
Market, last minute shopping.
Yes, absolutely. I've even bought cat food from Bolt Market with elevated prices. But you when your cat is hungry, you have to do something about it.
Yeah.
So Bolt is definitely one of such brands. Then from Latvia, I would say Air Baltic, which I think is really like maybe the internationally most recognized brand from the region, and I'm using it like I travel a lot, so about maybe half of my trips are with Air Baltic, and I think the kind of the effect they've had on economies of Baltic countries has been enormous, and I really wish that politicians would understand the effect better. So it's not about making profit with the airline, it's about actually bringing
investments and
investment
people
to the
life to the region.
To the region. So this is definitely a brand that is I would admire them.
Okay.
From Lithuania, I would say Maxima.
All right.
Because yes, they are doing like. I think they're doing great. On both ends, they've been able to keep the prices low. And on the other hand, I think they are been pretty good at innovations as well. So at least in Estonia, they were the first one that invented the mobile. You could use the mobile phone for your shopping and checkout. I use them. I visit them quite often. Of course, the locations also matters because they are close to my home. But I think they are doing great, and it's a very strong and good brand.
Yeah, thanks so much. And even here, you are kind of pan-Baltic. You admire all 3 countries equally well.
I try to be politically correct. Yeah,
because for your next Baltic event, you'll need all 3 countries coming here.
Right.
So where do you get inspiration? I mean, is it podcasts, books, travel? So where do you kind of reload your battery?
Well, I would say that I'm in a position in my life now where I don't read many business books anymore. Or somehow I get a poisoning of business books and podcasts.
Yeah.
So now I'm switching back to traditional culture, literature and films and art. So, but I think the best way to get inspiration and ideas is still to travel, which I do a lot. So this is a real eye-opener.
Great. I can agree to that. And the last one, what's your moonshot goal, or what would ultimate success for you look like?
Well, I'm trying to build this Parrot brand now to become like international conference brand.
Okay. Again, big idea, small countries, or even
no, it's still like I've done a lot of desktop research on B2B marketing events and awards and everything, and actually this landscape is not very crowded, so I feel that there is room for such thing. Obviously, the critical part here is the execution, because we are a small, very very small company. And it requires resources, time and money. So this is the part I haven't figured out clearly yet, how to approach that. But I feel that there is potential, and I would like to achieve that kind of goal that another small brand from Estonia would become, at least in one niche,
small brand with big muscle,
globally famous. Yes.
So I wish, for the Parrot and yourself to become the brand in business to business world in Europe or globally, and everybody who previously went to Web Summit, now they will have been heard about the Parrot, and hopefully it's gonna be a great venue and great summit for people who were kind of following boring rule too much.
Yeah, but this will be a very boring event, so this is we have to differentiate. So
yes.
No pub crawls or anything, just pure business.
Yeah, so thank you, Hando, for coming in. So we just talked with Hando Sinisalu, who is the founder of Marketing Parrot and Best Marketing, and doing also his radio show, right?
Yes,
Aripav radio show and podcast.
Sure.
So if people want to follow you, where should they? LinkedIn is the best place.
Yes.
Great. So Hando Sinisalu, thank you very much for the visiting us, and we see us back in Riga Circus in 20th of September, Baltic Brand Forum.
Yeah, I sure want to join, and I wish you all the best achieving those moonshot goals with filling the circus with Baltic creative people.
With these marketing animals.
Right.
So thanks so much, and see you soon.
Yeah, thank you.